you sneaky little individual. I'm surprised Hello Kitty is not actually on the roster, because, frankly, Suppy and Hello Kitty's trash talk in the original Shoutcraft America was absolutely hilarious. However, it's not the case anymore. That saddens me. I like Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty's Chinese macro. 27 probes, 9 gateways. Pretty solid. We will be waiting just a little bit longer and then we can get into this. My apologies for the delays, folks. Unfortunately, a few people are not quite ready to go yet. But we'll kick it off as quickly as we can. Welcome to those joining the stream. We just passed 7,500 viewers, which is pretty cool for a show match that actually has no prize money. So, that's not too bad. These guys are just playing for fun for the most part. Maybe that we might be able to get a pre-game interview. But I will double check here. It looks like it's probably not going to happen, but everyone else is piling into the lobby. I've got plenty of people in the lobby. It's just none of them are the people I'm looking for. Looking for Kane right now. But we'll have them momentarily. Those of you who did not get to watch the Scarlet vs. Naniwa match, by the way, it was really, really good. I don't want to spoil the results, and I won't, of course, but the YouTube VOD is currently being cut as we speak. So, things should be all well and good, and you'll be able to watch the whole thing spoiler-free over on twitch.tv/TotalBiscuit. Looks like we might be ready to rock and roll here. Hitman's team is, in fact, on Game Heart. Scroll to the bottom. There we go. I'm just teaching them how to use Game Heart. There we go. Let's do that. And never mind, it's actually disappeared. We had his map. What the hell? He's TtSYF, right? Yeah, of course he is. This is confusing. Damn. So we had Hitman's team. There it is. Alright, I've got it. I've found it. Let's rock and roll. This will be a bit more of a laid-back cast, as you might imagine. We did the super professional thing for the big money show match today. This is just for fun. Strong colors is on, because I do like that option. Alright, let's rock and roll. First map's going to be Habitation Station. This is an interesting little bit of foreshadowing of things to come here. This is a map that is looking to be in the map pool for next season, so best get used to it. And apparently not a bad map for Zerg either. However, I wouldn't expect Hitman to ever go past 2 bases, so I don't know whether or not this gold base will actually become a factor in any way, shape, or form. It's a cool map, though. We actually saw it in the Red Bull Battlegrounds. Alright. And here we go. As soon as the slow-ass players actually load. They pile into the lobby and they slow down my cast. Such is the way of things. Oh, cool. Here we go. Excellent. That is the wrong button. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome to your nation war between the USA and Canada, featuring TtSYF Gaming's Hitman. He is in the green trunks. He is playing Protoss to the northwest of Habitation Station versus his opponent to the northeast position. Mr. Motivator over here in the pink trunks are playing Zerg. It is mYiKane Kane. Now, I'm not going to put a best of anything down. Actually, no, I probably could do that. It's going to be very confusing for people. This is technically a best of 7 series, but it's Pro League format, which means that there are set matchups best of 1. So, if I do this, and then this, you will notice that it says best of 7 down there. Please do not take that as meaning, oh, Hitman's won 2 games or whatever. That is the team. So currently, top's Team Canada and bottom is Team America. They're currently both on 0-0. I will try and keep this updated for you as we go, and that will allow you to keep track of the show match. I also think I may have accidentally turned my sound off. No, the Protoss is just being unusually quiet all of a sudden. You know, the way that I usually test sound on my streams is I go to a Protoss space and I listen to them warping in buildings, because it's the loudest thing in the world! Good lord! Insanity. Hitman's out pretty early here with this probe scout. Pretty early. Just keeping an eye on things. It might make Suppy a little suspicious. He's going for the 15 pool right here. That might actually even be the 16, but am I just keeping an eye on things? It looks like he's probably going to go next first. Absolutely. Yeah, he's got the pylon down there. He will be doing that. I wonder if he will attempt to take this base, because we saw Scarlet take this base on this map during Red Bull Battlegrounds. It's very, very good. It's a really nice area. The cool thing that you can do as Protoss is that you can defend these areas and actually shoot over the other side. So I wonder if we'll see Kane attempt to pull that kind of stuff off. Will he try and take that expansion? Because it's really nice for Zerg. You can take it pretty early and get a nice boost in minerals, but it can be risky. We saw SOS use a Tempest-based style to counter a Zerg doing that, and it worked really, really well in Red Bull Battlegrounds. And it's obvious. I mean, there's not much distance. You can see it on the screen. There's an Ultralisk in the middle of there for no reason. You can put your Tempest here, and they can shoot over here. How do you even handle that? You can pivot from this third base and basically defend everything with Tempests. So it's pretty powerful. We'll see how it goes. Cannon goes down. Gateway at the front. So standard wall off here for Hitman. Now, I wonder if Hitman will exploit his particular reputation. What kind of cheese, if any, will actually come from him? Well, he's taken 2 gas now. Wow, he did that all gasless. That's pretty crazy. Well, it's not that crazy, but taking 2 gas on 21, definitely a little bit late. I wonder if he'll take more gas than that, what he plans on doing. Interesting. Kane actually decides, you know what, I don't want to expand to the gold. He's expanded away from the Protoss, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. Maybe he's seen those Red Bull Battlegrounds games, but during that tournament, we saw a lot of Zerg players really go for that gold very, very quickly. Perhaps he's just a little bit worried about cannons or something along those lines. Hitman does have a Forger, but that doesn't seem like it's going to be happening anytime soon. And, of course, Kane is able to keep a good eye on this, because this Cyber Core is pretty late. It's not going to be done for a few more seconds now. There are no Stalkers. There is no risk whatsoever to that Overlord. He knows that. Now he's getting out of there. He hasn't been able to scout the Cyber Core, but aside from that, he knows what's going on. So he knows there's a Cyber Core there somewhere. He knows that Hitman went for the Nexus first into the Forge. Nice and greedy there from him, and that has allowed Kane to take this third base and then potentially use this as his fourth, which would work pretty well too. In the meantime, nothing happens, as Kane is looking to build as many drones as possible. Kind of surprising not to see Kane get really aggro, but really, he likes to do that an awful lot against Terran. Against Zerg, maybe, against Protoss, in fact, maybe not so much. It's a little bit more difficult to do. I mean, what can you really do aggressively here that isn't very all-in? You could build a bunch of roaches, but you're sacrificing your economy if you do that, and Hitman did go Nexus first, so you don't really want to be allowing the Protoss player to get ahead in any way. The Protoss can already kind of keep up on probes simply as a result of Chrono Boost, and all the Chrono Boost is being spent in the Nexus. There's actually quite a few probes queued up there for Hitman. Roach Warren now comes down for Kane, so he couldn't really sit around doing absolutely nothing. He likes to get a little bit aggressive, plus there's a possibility of +1 timing. I'm wondering exactly what Hitman's next move is, because we're seeing the +1 come up, and that's fine, and the Lings actually make their way in and do a little bit of scouting. Didn't manage to get in the base. There's the tech. Twilight Council comes up there now that those scouting Lings have been successfully eliminated. I'm also noticing that Kane is still... Yeah, he doesn't have metabolic boost. Thought not. That was a little strange. Quite surprised to see that. Would have thought he would have got a metabolic boost, but no. Oh, does he have it now? No, he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. Look at him. Just hopping around. No wings. Not at all. Very slow. It's quite surprising, I guess, but he is going Roach now into his lair. That's a great question, Hendrilisk. You tell me. You're the pro. Hitman has taken the third base. That is quite surprising. That is quite surprising. We don't usually see that, honestly. That is perhaps unexpected. Kane will not be seeing that one coming. Roach Speed coming in. Roaches is a fairly interesting choice. Fairly interesting choice. Sentries, sentries, sentries. Lots and lots of sentries. Your teammates are being BM in chat. Oh, man. A lot of sentries. Roaches on the way. +1 missile attack as well. In come the roaches. Okay, knock, knock, knock. I mean, there's way more sentries than I think Kane can possibly handle here. I don't know. There's a decent number of roaches. There's 20. We'll see. More to the point, exactly where's the DPS from Hitman? He does have a mothership core, so attacking this third could be a little bit risky here for Kane, I feel. He's got a lot of units, but good force fields would eliminate this quite nicely. Where's the mothership core? There it is. There's the photon overcharge. Well, those force fields were anything but good, unfortunately, from his opponent right there. Now Kane has kicked in with his speed upgrade and is swinging around towards the natural, which is... It's still a little bit risky, but they're actually just going to waltz right on through. The force field needs to come down pretty much immediately. There we go. He's managed to section the forces off in two, so that worked out pretty well. Hitman doesn't have a huge amount of firepower there, but it may be enough regardless. +2 is going to get cancelled. Roaches made their way in there and are able to do yet more damage. More force fields come down. There's plenty of units streaming in across the map here from Kane, who is just looking to do critical damage. I don't feel he's got it yet. I don't think so. Seems very unlikely, but he is now in the mineral line. He's focusing down that nexus, which looks like it is going to die. There aren't enough units on the field to deal with this. Metabolic boost just finished, which means those lings can start to stream in and start to do damage to the sentries and to the stalkers, and they're horribly dead as well. And Kane, I told you, Kane's aggro. Like, his entire existence is just anger. Pure, unadulterated anger and aggression. He gets up and he punches a cat, like, out of nowhere. That's what he does. And he translates that anger into his Starcraft play. The natural has been absolutely gutted. The roaches are having a little bit of dance, making a little bit of love, getting down tonight in the natural expansion of Hitman, who took a third base, which is something we don't see from Hitman, and apparently that's not too good. So I don't think he should take a third base anymore. That doesn't seem like it works very well. So I'm not sure what Hitman's plan was here, but Kane just ran him over with roaches. So I guess that works. A bit of a disappointing performance here from Hitman, who I feel that Team America was relying on to really get them that win after his shock upset over... There you go. His shock upset over Scarlet in Starcraft America. But there you go. That is Kane, one of the strongest players certainly on Team Canada, taking his first win in this best-of-7 team series against Hitman. Ouch! Gotta hurt, man. That has got to hurt. Alright, well, who is left, you might ask? Well, we have a few other matches. I don't know exactly which order they're playing them in, I'm afraid. They seem to be swapping things around. I think we're still missing Desrow, that's why. So we may either have a forfeit there from Desrow or be able to replace him with somebody else. So I'm just waiting on Suppy and HuK. I was about to say Sup and Hucky to try and fight. That sounds like a really good buddy cop movie, Sup and Hucky. That would work pretty well, I think. Anyway... As I was saying, we still have Desrow minigun. We've got Suppy and Hitman, Hendris, Masa 2v2, coLqxc, Masa, Suppy versus HuK, and Zeno versus Hendris, and then, of course, the ace match if it gets that far. Now I'm being asked what to do. Okay. Let's try and go for coLqxc versus Masa. That sounds like a pretty good idea. Let's hold off on the 2v2 for a little while. See what happens with coLqxc versus Masa. That sounds like a really good TBT. I like my TBT, so I'm looking forward to that. Just past 10,000 viewers. Thank you very much for watching this rather casual, it very much is a casual show match. A little more than pride on the line today. But if you do want to donate to the teams, you can do that. Shoutcraft.com. If you donate to... not to Hitman. If you donate to Minigun, it will go to Team America. If you donate to HuK, it will go to Team Canada, and they're going to split it 5 ways. Well, 6 ways, I think. Actually, no, it is 5 ways. That is true, because we do have the 2v2 here. I was thinking, hang on a second, how does that work in a best-of-7 Pro League format? Okay. We will be going to the next game momentarily, folks. In the meantime, I'm going to take a quick break. You are currently watching Canada versus USA in the Nation War, brought to you by HuK and Suppy. Sup and Hucky. We'll be right back. Pretty good. The next matchup, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be Masa versus coLqxc. It's going to be a good TBT. It's going to be on Star Station. Masa has shown some pretty good TBT up to this point, which is fairly impressive as far as I am concerned. So, without further ado... that button. There we go. Let us begin. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Complexity QXC for Team America. He is in the purple trunks. He is playing Terran to the northwest of Star Station. Versus his opponent to the southeast position, whose team, not him, whose team is currently up 1 game in this best of 7 Pro League format team series. From Team Canada, it is ROOTMaSa. So that's what that means. For those of you a bit confused about how a Pro League format works, Pro League format is a set number of best of 1s. So you got 2 teams, and those teams will pick players for each map, yeah? And the other team will do the same. And then those will be the matchups that you prepare for. So the person to win will put a point on the board for their team, okay? And the first team to reach 4 points is the winner. So in this case, Team Canada, which ROOTMaSa is a part of, they are up 1 game in the series. Now, if it goes all the way to 7 games, then what we're going to see is a rather interesting ace match, which I would imagine EGHuK would play in for Canada. I'm not sure who would play in it for America, but we'll see. So that's how it works. There's going to be a 2v2 as well. That's going to actually be one of the matches. So that'll be particularly interesting. It's going to be fairly casual, laid back. You're going to see a bit of chit-chat, a bit of trash talk in the observer chat down there from our players. That is all totally authorized. This is not a match for money, although you can tip the players over at shoutcraft.com if you so desire. For a job well done. So far, identical builds from both players. We saw the barracks go up and the gas. Now, we're seeing an awful lot of gas, as you can see right here. Masa has a lot of gas. Why? Because the gas went up first. Really as simple as that. The gas also went up first here for Masa. So QXC and Masa both sitting on that, and they'll both complete around the same time. That means an immediate factory can be started. So no Reaper or anything along those lines, going immediately into a factory, which can often mean cloaked, well, either cloaked Banshee or regular Banshee. Depends on how fast you want to go with it. Both players, however, scout each other. QXC makes his way into the base here. He's going to see exactly what he has built. The question is, where do they go from there? Because we could see Banshee. We're seeing a tech lab going down quite early here for QXC, which is a little surprising. You don't need to build it that early if you're going to swap it over with a starport. So perhaps that is for something else entirely. We could see something like Marauder Hellion, which would be a little odd. But a second gas is going down here. Now, it looks like he is going to use the tech lab for the starport. There we go. So you don't necessarily have to do that. It's just a stylistic choice. Eventually, you would have to use the tech lab for something. So you might as well do it then while you have the gas. So you'll see that Masa is actually building the tech lab here on his factory. They're both going Banshee by the looks of it. As to whether or not Cloak is involved, it probably is. Both Masa and QXC are both mining from 2 gases, so they're going to have a little bit too much gas for just regular Banshee. It's also possible that one of them will kind of chicken out and decide to go for a Raven instead, knowing that the opponent is going for Banshees. In fact, I would say that Masa is quite likely to go for the Raven here, because he's actually building a Widow Mine, which means, generally speaking, he wants to be the more defensive player against a possible Cloaked Banshee play. In fact, however, he is going to go for the Banshee, so that's fine. Cloak starts up here for QXC. Masa also starts Cloak, so there you go. I'm quite surprised to see no Widow Mine yet from QXC. Widow Mines are very useful for taking out Banshees for obvious reasons. Even better with a Raven, because the Raven will allow you to scout out the Cloak Banshee without having to worry about wasting a scan. But those Widow Mines can be pretty key to this engagement. We've seen an awful lot of this style of TVT lately. It's very early Cloaked Banshee aggression. Coming in for the most part because Banshee's a heck of a lot cheaper now with Cloak. Cloak used to cost 200, now it's only 100. So, that's fine. Hitman, what? There's the Raven coming out from QXC, in fact. So he's going to follow that one up. He knows what he's coming up against. It depends whether or not there's going to be another follow-up. Looks like both of them are going for Banshee only. Just a single Banshee. It may be that Cloak for both players ends up being a massive waste of time, considering that both are going to have Ravens by the time this Banshee hits. So the Banshees now pass. I think actually Masa might be a little bit late on that. So it is entirely possible that QXC will be able to get in. You see the upgrades to the side right here, slightly faster for QXC as he makes his way in. The Banshee is going to be able to stop this command center getting built, which is absolutely fantastic. First blood indeed. All of the gas mining disrupted here for QXC. Very nice. In the meantime, the Raven is already out for QXC. It was a little bit faster for him. So that works pretty well. Raven is now out, of course, for Masa. We'll see who has the better control here. Honestly, I saw really good Banshee control with Masa. And that was in the rather wonderful Shoutcraft America match. Some pretty good micro from both players, actually. I'm loving this. I'm loving it. 7 kills, 8 kills, 9 kills here. coLqxc. Right now, you'll notice that Masa is not confident going in at all. The reason he's not wanting to do that is because he's too busy microing the defense. 11 kills from coLqxc's Banshee. 4 of them were workers, yeah? So he killed a bunch of Marines, which, I mean, doesn't sound that great, but it is pretty good. If you look at units lost here, it's 550 to 0. Currently, Team USA playing an absolutely flawless TBT, and coLqxc transitioning into mech. Very cool. Very cool. Adding on 2 additional factories. Both the Raven and the Viking there, and... set aside. Oh, God. I cannot wait to see how many EG players get fined after this. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Masa is just going to hang around and perhaps hope that coLqxc forgets that that Banshee was there. There's actually a second Banshee here from Masa. Second Banshee from coLqxc as well. This one's back there. It can get repaired. I'm quite surprised that coLqxc hasn't deliberately gone out and scouted that Banshee. That might be a little bit of a false read, because if coLqxc doesn't realize that there's a second Banshee on the field, he may think that this is the original, and then he might get backstabbed by the other one. Ooh, quick cloak there from Masa. Very nice. He's right on the ball with that. The aggression comes back in. There we go. That is Marine after Marine going down. That scan is not going to be too effective. The Viking is coming in, though, so Masa's going to have to move. This would be a perfect time to backstab. There it is. See? He moves all of his defense down there and completely out of the way, which means that this one is going to go to town. Very nice moves here by Masa. Really sneaky. coLqxc falling for that one. Hook, line, and sinker. All of the mining on the main mineral line has been disrupted. 6 kills already on that Banshee. He does have to get out of there pretty quickly. That actually wasn't a good move. He might lose the Banshee? Maybe, but this one is now coming in as well. Now, a scan would eliminate that Banshee almost immediately. There goes the scan, and down it goes. This final Banshee is actually going to get away. Very nicely done. What does that leave us with, you might ask? What does it leave us with? Okay. 7 to 4 workers killed. Units lost looks something like this. Masa had a more effective play with that one. He's even going after the Hellions, which is quite nice. And I wonder how much scouting information Masa got. Seeing those Hellions might be a tell. He didn't actually see the mech transition, but he could probably suspect it based on the fact that there's quite a few Hellions out on the field already. Now, in the meantime, of course, Masa's also been going mech. He has gone for 4 factories, so we're going to see mech on mech, which is not a particularly usual thing to see. I'm quite looking forward to it. coLqxc gets back into the mineral line, does yet more damage with his Banshee here. coLqxc still has 2 Banshees. I want to know where the other one is, actually. It's over here, taking out lone Marines. That Banshee's now been chased down, so both players now have 1 Banshee apiece. Masa's still cloaked. Needs to repair that Banshee. Needs to be a little bit careful with that. And now a little bit of a standoff between these two as they both start to develop their respective mech armies. Now, damage-wise, I've got to say, coLqxc's economy is looking in much better shape than Masa's. Masa's is only at 37 SCVs here. coLqxc did kill a number of workers, but not enough to justify that kind of deficit, which indicates to me that Masa has been dedicating just a little bit more to unit production and has perhaps not been producing 100% of the time when it comes to his SCVs. In fact, he's only building 1 right now, so his economy is not quite in the same shape, which is going to allow coLqxc some interesting situations to get ahead. Tanks now deployed, so Masa has absolutely no intention of letting anyone in at this point. You know what would be nice is if we can move this chat down here. That would be great. And make it smaller. That would be a pretty cool feature if the guys over at GameHeart want to put that in. That would be quite nice. Alright, coLqxc is going to push out here. We have a large contingent of Hellions from Masa, but neither of these guys have blue flame as of yet. With the tanks in play, of course, this is only going to go one way, and Masa's going to have to back off. He hasn't taken too much damage, though. He meets up with his opponent. Masa gets a slightly better set of shots off, in my opinion, and this is getting a little bit worrying, because the tanks are now coming in, and we're going to see this very strange standoff between these two. coLqxc is not getting the better end of this. Infernal Pre-Igniter is about to happen. but it doesn't really matter because QXC barely has any Hellions. That's one tank going down. Masa going after a second one here immediately. Hellions coming in. They're not getting a good flank off, though, and a couple go down almost immediately. Infernal Pre-Igniter about to kick in here for Masa. Tanks now finally deployed. Vikings on the ground here as well. Auto turrets going down on both sides in a really, really strange engagement. And the double Seekers detonate, taking out a tank as well. QXC is going to be able to hold this for the time being, but he did take significant losses, as you can see right here. So that's not looking amazingly good. Army supply heavily in favor of ROOTMaSa at this stage, and Masa's also managed to find a hole in the defenses of his opponent, killing yet more SCVs in that mineral line. Masa's looking pretty good right now. QXC still has a fairly significant lead, but he can't mine effectively, and I think he's actually getting to oversaturation point. Indeed, he is. He needs to think about a third base. Right now, with a reduced army count, he might not be able to hold one, though. So that's my concern about that. You can see the orbital command coming down on the third here, but Masa is currently showing no signs whatsoever of expanding. He has not started a new command center as of yet. 2 more factories being added on here for QXC. Good to see some good defensive positioning here from our American Terran. Otherwise, this is not going to go too well for him. Hellion count is not too high for QXC, unfortunately. It's rather high for Masa. And everything really is in Masa's favor army-wise here, but it really depends on what kind of engagement can be got. Decent shots coming off here by QXC, actually. He's going to take down that lead tank. The orbital command taking some damage. The air war seems to be being won by QXC as well. Attempted flanks end up being an absolute waste of time here for Masa. So this is a good defensive position for QXC, and a few missed moves here by Masa. However, Masa's going to start to add on Banshees again. We've seen how good he can really be with that. Few Hellions donate themselves for free, and QXC's army supply is starting to even up with his opponent. Getting a couple of good shots off here with the tanks as well. Scan goes down, but both of these guys are actually out of range right now, which is strange because it actually looks like they're not, but this area here is actually out of range. It's just on the edge of the foot of the tank there. Hellions now trying to find their way in. The question is, where can they go? The tank line is nicely spread out. I'm actually quite surprised that QXC is moving out here. It seems like this is the more defensible position, but QXC evidently disagrees with that. However, there are Hellions set to backstab. If you held those back for a little while, that would be pretty cool. Nice little flank there by Masa to defend his tank, and he's now going to go in and see what damage he can do over here. There are no... well, there's a couple of workers here. He's able to delay the gas mining, but that really is about it. Looking for the tank. Gets a good flank there. Masa trying to go after that tank, but it looks like QXC will be able to throw that back without too much of a problem. This area is just a little bit too risky. I don't think QXC actually wants to really risk any kind of engagement around here because he might run into these tanks and take heavy damage. QXC's SCV count, though, is actually ridiculous, but he's heavily oversaturated with it. He has to saturate this third base, and that's going to be very difficult to do with ROOTMaSa's Banshee being an absolute pain in the arse over here. Finally, however, QXC gets his own Banshee out and is able to throw this back and is looking to try and take another base. In the meantime, Masa also taking a base. He's currently unharassed. Masa's still driving away potential mining opportunities here, but there is a 4th base being constructed by QXC. The question is, can he actually do a good enough siege tank line to keep it locked down? QXC's air patrol moves in, and Masa is finally forced back. But this is still a pretty good position. It's not the best, though. I mean, if you look at it, Masa has killed a huge number of workers, and yet somehow QXC is still ahead on the worker count, which actually absolutely boggles my mind, considering the armies are very, very even right now. I really don't know how that actually happened. I guess QXC is just better at building SCVs. Masa seems to have forgotten to do that. Right now, Masa, of course, needs to get himself in a defensive posture to deal with this third base attack that's coming in, and the Banshee comes along just to be a little bit annoying here as well. QXC continues to maintain air superiority, which is actually a terrible thing for Masa to be ceding to him right now. QXC is doing a great job of picking off units here. He's going to pick off some weakened tanks. He might want to target fire, but it looks like he's focused on other things right now. The Thor does good damage. That is not a fight that a Banshee really wants to take, and that Banshee is going to get punished for that. In the meantime, we have Auto Turret Harass coming in, which is not doing a huge amount, but there's some really annoying Banshee play going off in the 3rd base of QXC right now. However, the 4th base is about to be established as a planetary, I would imagine. No! He's going super greedy. 4 orbitals. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Well, I guess planetary doesn't make a lot of sense, considering your opponent's got a lot of tanks, so Masa looking to try and take down as many of these tanks as possible. His Banshee is doing a great job of doing just that. Those high-value units being taken to pieces. Masa's siege tank count is not looking too good, however, and that concerns me greatly. It took a lot of damage from the Banshees as well. coLqxc now moving into position to see if he can do any damage. Masa is prepared for that. Moves in a Hellion, sees it coming. Can he get a good siege position up? Masa needs to deploy, and he does. Hellion on Hellion, which usually means a lot of piles of molten goop on the floor. And well-deployed siege tanks mean that, well, I wouldn't say well-deployed. Masa just kind of bunched all his stuff up and hit the deploy button, which works fine too. You just don't want to go anywhere near that. Finally, this third base for coLqxc is looking a little bit more secure, but coLqxc is about to be on 4 bases, and the Hellbat drop is coming in too. Very nice little auto turret play here from Masa, I gotta say. This worker count is really evening up. 56 workers killed by Masa is actually kind of incredible. I wonder if the Hellbat drop is really going to do much. We'll see. Perhaps it will. Masa now moving into position to threaten the third. Gets a good flank on coLqxc's Hellions. In the meantime, a couple more Hellions get splattered here by a tank from coLqxc. coLqxc needs to... Actually, I don't think he's going to lose that tank. No, he's not going to lose that. That'll be fine. As long as, of course, he doesn't completely ignore it. Action going on all over the place right now. The Banshee comes in, does not have cloak energy, which means it dies pretty much immediately. The Thors are going to march right into this. There are 3 of them. They can take a good number of tank shots, but there's no supporting fire, so Masa appears to be committing suicide with those fairly heavy and expensive units. Hellbat drop, in fact, a Blue Flame Hellion and a Hellbat drop comes in, and suddenly coLqxc is the one laying down the economic pain. 22 workers killed right now, 38 versus 53. There is no mining going on the main, so that's completely irrelevant, but this Blue Flame Hellion drop down here did some pretty significant damage to Masa's economy, and coLqxc continues to sit pretty on 4 bases, having taken some economic damage, but not enough to cripple him. Masa's going to drive this back with his superior tank count right now, but that is not the case if he were to actually try and engage head-on. coLqxc has 16 tanks. His opponent only has 11. Hellion count is looking better for coLqxc as well. So, Masa is forced into a position where he thinks he has to attack, and honestly, coLqxc's in a really good spot at this stage. coLqxc has the bigger army, coLqxc's got the better economy, coLqxc is producing Hellbats 4 at a time and dropping them in the late game, which is something that you don't necessarily expect and is a little bit hard to handle. Also good for dropping on tanks, of course, which might be required in this situation. Oh! Catches him on siege, but he's going to take huge amounts of volley damage here. Will he be able to crush through? coLqxc looks like he's going to be able to take that out. He took some significant losses, but I think he can afford that. Masa with the run by. coLqxc smashes the army of Masa. That is an absolute massacre, and that could be game over. And Masa GG's 1-1, ladies and gentlemen, between USA and Canada. Well, coLqxc demonstrated that once again he's pretty damn good at TBT. Masa had some fairly excellent early game moves, but somehow... God knows how that happened. Somehow, coLqxc always had workers. He kept building them. He got that 3rd base down earlier. He got that 4th base down earlier. He always seemed to have a bigger worker count. Even 56 workers killed, coLqxc still remains in the lead, which is kind of insane. What can I say, though? That was really nicely played there by coLqxc. Very impressive. Really nice to see mech on mech as well. We don't really get to see that too often. Why don't we go into a 2v2, folks? I have no idea how to cast the 2v2. It's okay, I don't have any idea how to cast anything, so I guess that works. Alright. Just getting everybody into the game right now. We will see. Cool. To swap everyone around, actually. Taking a quick break while we get this sorted out, folks, and then the 2v2 on Greystone Marine... No, not Greystone Marine. Yeah. Greystone Ravine will help us find out who is going to get ahead. As at this moment, we are currently 1-1 in the Nation War. We'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I decided not to run any ads because I called it Greystone Marine, which I feel is a terrible mistake and a shame for a display. Greystone Ravine. I don't know anything about 2v2, so I have no idea how this is going to go down, I gotta say. I don't even know if GameHeart even works on 2v2. I guess we'll find out, won't we? Alright, Suppy and Hitman versus Hendris and Masa. The winner of this will propel their team forward into a 2-1 lead in this Nation War match. Alright. Well, the answer is not at all does GameHeart work here. No, it doesn't. Alright, oh god, okay. Well, you're gonna have to do without the scoreboard, I'm afraid, folks. GameHeart was not designed for 2v2 in any way. Jesus. Alright, this is not a real overlay. Ignore this. This doesn't exist anymore. In your mind, this is non-existent. 2v2, ladies and gentlemen, featuring coLqxc and ROOTMaSa for Team Canada in the blue and slightly other blue trunks versus their opponents. TtSYF.Hitman. Oh, hang on. This is an early pool, isn't it? Ah, 6 pool coming out from Hendris. Alright, that's pretty standard 2v2 strat. And EGSuppy for Team America. Do I need to ask Major not to be too racist in chat? I have no responsibility for anything that is said in chat. Nothing whatsoever. So just bear that in mind. Early scout right here, coming out from Masa. 6 pull coming out from Hendrilisk. And Masa is otherwise doing very little, building his supply depot in his mineral line. Which is an interesting choice, to say the least. Not attempting any kind of wall-off. Forge coming down right here for Hitman. Could see some cannons, probably gonna see some cannons. Masa is actually currently doing absolutely nothing. There we go. Oh, of course he's 2-raxing. Should have seen that one coming. There we go. Right underneath Suppy's... Suppy? Who the fuck is Suppy? Oh my god. Oh, catch the biggest money show match in Starcraft 2 history. Can't even get his name right. Sorry, Suppy. Sorry. Suppy. Well, this is a problem for Suppy, actually, because he's currently getting his own natural walled off by Masa's barracks, which is an unexpected maneuver. Not quite, perhaps, what you would have thought would happen. Hendrilisk goes for the 6 pull into 8 lings into 10 lings into a queen thingy. Is making his way across. This is not a good position for our little Suppy. Not at all. He's waiting on the spawning pool. I think he needs spines right now, otherwise horrible things are going to happen to him. I like how Hitman just walled himself in his base and didn't care at all for his comrade right there. Yeah, that's American. Every man for themselves. Screw you, got mine. Lings in the mineral line. Suppy manages to get his stuff out, so at least he can try and defend it. The SCVs are coming together, though, and there's Marines coming in as well. I'd say that Suppy is not in a good place at this stage. He might be able to hold this, but he's probably screaming to his teammate for help, but he's not getting any. Decent surround, gotta say. Not too bad. But there's more Marines coming in. This is gonna be really difficult. These 2 barracks actually letting everything else in. At this time, there is an attempted cannon rush, which is actually failing miserably because a single ling from Hendrilisk found it. And currently we see little Suppy is on 5 drones, which is not a very good amount of drones. At all. But it's okay, because Team USA still has a Protoss, so I'm sure they'll be fine. Oh, I was talking about failed cannon rush. It actually hasn't failed quite yet, but it is getting there. There's another pylon coming in, a couple of lings coming out as well. The probe gets surrounded and killed. This is not good for Hitman. This is a bad position to be in. Suppy, however, was able to live with a spine crawler. Didn't live very well, but he lived. Seems like the 6 pull strategy is fairly powerful on this map, and on every other 2v2 map. Hitman loses a bunch of buildings for no reason. Suppy with a quick scout. Ah, a tech lab going down on the forward barracks. What an unexpected move, possibly for a marauder, because there might be some stalkers coming out. In fact, if Hitman cared at all about his teammate, he might build a stalker and start to snipe off Marines, but that's currently not happening. Suppy's income looks something like this. 220 minerals per minute. That is not a good amount of minerals. Stalker is now on the way out. We are seeing that Marauder, as I said. Pro 2v2 strat. If you're going to build your barracks in front of your 2v2 opponent's natural ramp, make sure that you have a Marauder to deal with the Protoss Stalker that is inevitably going to follow. Just bear that in mind for all of your future. And right now, actually, Masa is just going to march up the ramp and probably kill Hitman. And you know what? I have no sympathy for Hitman because he left little Suppy to die. It's not fair. Not reasonable. He is the American healthcare system. He let an innocent man die for no reason. And unsurprisingly, that man is now bankrupt. How appropriate. The nationalized healthcare system of Canada is doing a pretty good job of winning this 2v2, though, I have to say. The chances of Canada are looking fairly healthy in this matchup. Although I have a feeling that, regardless of that, HuK is still a little antisocial. Well, he's walled in to his own base. Not the position you want to be in if all you have are Zerglings. It's okay, though. Don't worry. There's... Oh, never mind. That's from Hendris. I was going to say, there's a Baneling nest coming down. Good luck busting that on 5 drones, but... Oh, never mind. Suppy's actually up to 10. You get to see the barracks covered in creep, which is really nice, but this is also not really helping too much. The Marauders are very slowly killing everything. Probes coming out of the way. Ling's coming in to try and shut down the Twilight Council. I love how Hitman's like, you know what would be really good in this situation? Dark Shrine. No, not necessarily. It might be a little late for that. Looks like the barracks are eventually going to be broken. So Suppy is not out of this yet. However, there are Banelings on the way from Hendris, so I have a feeling things are about to get really unpleasant really quickly. The remaining probes from Hitman are about to get slaughtered. There are Banelings morphing in the base of Hitman at this stage, which is never what you really want. Queen's going to help out there. Barracks is finally going to go down, which is going to allow those Lings to make their way through. Could they get the surround? Potentially. Stim is now on the way. If he gets maybe a few more Lings, he could get a surround, kill that off, and maybe kill off Stim, which actually might keep him in the game here. Banelings making their way to kill the... What are they making their way to kill? Oh, they're going to run face first into the wall. Okay, just checking. I think if Suppy gets a few more Lings, he actually kills this Terran army here, especially if Hendris doesn't help. Which, right now, he isn't. Ling's coming out. Hitman is basically dead. He's sitting on a mothership core, which I've been told is a really good unit, but probably not that good. Lings are on their way down here, looking to get the surround. They're already sort of based against the building, however. So I think the Terran army might die here, but the Baneling follow-up is probably going to kill Suppy. So, in fact, that didn't even happen either. Hitman's mothership core is desperately trying to help. You can see it. There's a tiny little executor sitting on top of that big ball in the sky, waving his little arms around, saying, I'm helping, I'm helping! But now it's dead. So that doesn't really do much. And I have a feeling that this is probably going to go to Team Canada. I don't know what's given me that impression. It may be the massive everything disparity. That's Hitman's building shut down. It's okay, he's still got 3 probes left. He's totally in this. Links come around. Cancel Stim! Suppy! Sick mind game. Cancel. Oh, I mean, I guess you could just kill the barracks. That actually has the same effect, but he's looking for it. But Ling DPS is really, really low. Suppy's trying to desperately fight his way back in here. The barracks is going to die. Stim has been cancelled successfully. Suppy's still in it. Man, can Suppy carry this? No, because there's a Banshee killing all of his drones. There's the GG. Team Canada successful in the 2v2, which takes us up to 2-1 in this Nation War series right here. Well, that was fun. And unexpected. And really strange. Oh my. That was... I liked that. Like, I liked... I probably shouldn't have, but I enjoyed that way more than I had any right to. Oh my. 2-1 in favor of Team Canada. I have to see who's up next. coLqxc, currently the only player to put a point on the board here for America. What does that leave us with? I can tell you. We do have, still for Team America, Suppy has not played yet outside the 2v2. Xenocide hasn't played yet, and Minigun hasn't played yet. So, still some pretty powerful players from Team USA. Canada has already fielded Kane, and has already fielded Masa. Kane to great effect, Masa not so much. Leaving EGHuK, Hendris, and Desrow, but I have a feeling Desrow is actually just not going to show, so that may not be a factor. Now, I do have for you a special guest caster. Because, hey, you know, I've been casting solo, which has been great, don't get me wrong, but I thought the most appropriate person that I could bring on for a USA versus Canada team battle would be a British person by the name Ben. Hi.
Hello, John.
Hello,
How's it
Ben.
going?
How are you? I'm okay. How about you, mate?
I'm good. Having a rather slow day, and I saw you were casting alone, and yeah, I thought I'd give you a little message.
Yeah, there we go. Give me a little massage as well if you like, but...
I'm really good at those, but
Really?
yeah, you're pretty far away as far as I know.
Alright. Moral support over Skype is going to have to be what happens here. Well, it looks like you're going to get to cast your teammates, because we actually have Suppy versus EGHuK coming in right here.
Oh, really? Wow, okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, it is. We're going to have to get you into this game.
I'm just logging in right now. Sorry, I was watching your stream, and I had to mute everything and stuff.
Indeed. I'm going to put the... This is the name of the channel. If you can jump in there, and I will get you invited, and we can have you cast the remainder of this series.
Cool. Okay, I'm in there. I was oh, I can even join the lobby straight away. Done.
There you go. Look at how good that is. Look at how efficient
That's a very
this is.
inconspicuous channel name, by the way.
Yeah, I thought it was really well hidden. This had nothing to do with me. This was all organized by EGHuK and Suppy, so this is entirely their fault.
Oh, really? So they're team captains and they're playing each other?
I think so. I think that's the plan. This isn't the ace match, but it might end up being the ace match.
2-1 for Canada? Wow, okay,
Yeah.
this is a...
Canada just won the
pretty
2v2. Hendris with the... Well, it was actually a really sick strat. It was 6
I saw the
pool.
2-Rex at the bottom of the ramp and the 6 pool, and
Sneaky.
that was dirty. But Hendris is... he's pretty much the Zerg version of Hitman, but probably less shame, just purely because he's Zerg and he can macro. Whereas, you know, Hitman, like Protoss, they're just really good at doing what Hitman does, it seems.
I thought you were about to say it was the Zerg version of Hitler there, but never mind.
No. I could not be saying anything along those lines.
This comment is not endorsed by Evil Geniuses or Alex Garfield Corporation.
Yeah, I'd have received a text pretty much like immediately, even before it got streamed by Alex, if I did say such a thing. So,
I heard he has this kind of Minority Report pre-crime unit just for esports. He's got like 3 of these bald-headed people. I think he's got like Kaldor in one of them in these little tubs of, I suppose it's amniotic fluid, and they tell him the future. It's wonderful. That's how he knows how to steal players from other teams.
so you immediately, as soon as you said 3 bald people, the first person that jumped to your head was Kaldor?
Well, I mean, let's be honest.
I mean,
how many
totally
prominent bald people are there in this scene outside of
I
Kaldor?
asked him how he has his head like become so shiny. Like I asked for tips because at one point I was very worried about becoming extremely bald. Wow, is this a big pink square? Or is my Starcraft weird right now?
Well, we are on stronger team colors, and Major is getting really confused by that. So
Okay.
I think that's probably why.
Everybody on my screen is yellow, like they're both yellow, and I have big pink squares just kind of floating around, but this should be fun.
Okay, that is not supposed to happen, and that is not on my screen right now, so I'm not 100% sure how to explain that.
Okay, I'll send you or I'll post a screenshot on Twitter after this game, I suppose.
Indeed.
But EGHuK and Suppy have quite a history.
Okay.
And that history is Suppy does really well in practice against EGHuK, like phenomenally well. But EGHuK seems to dominate him beyond comprehension in like real games and matches and stuff.
Do you think that's because EGHuK just has more tournament experience?
I think that's a really big deal. I also wait, is that cannon? Like, is that pylon? Okay, no, it's not blocking. I thought that might be blocking the Nexus, but
That would be
yeah,
a little awkward, wouldn't it?
yeah, it's definitely down to tournament experience. But also, Suppy is known for being one of the most straight-up macro players possible. And if you know that, and if you can take advantage of that, such as like EGHuK definitely can. Like we've all seen Suppy do really well against Korean Protosses, even like a parting hero in the past, even though it was a while ago.
Sure.
He's always done very well at it. So EGHuK, yeah, he knows Suppy's weak spot.
Alright, well, let's see if we can exploit it. Suppy's going for the pull first here on about 14-15 supply. Probably going to see a Nexus come down here from EGHuK momentarily.
Yeah, this is a pretty good start for EGHuK, actually. As far as I know in ZVP, going straight up Nexus against a pool first, they can't really punish it, but also you get your Forge and Cannon up in time. So just based on build alone, this is pretty good for EGHuK. But given that it's Fruitland, maybe something could happen with the Lings that are going to be out on the map and the map control that Suppy's going to have.
Possibly. It depends as to whether or not Sup or... I've done it again. God damn it. Sup and Hooky. I've been doing this all fucking day. Oh, god damn it. I called him Soupy earlier.
I heard you call him Soupy, and I immediately looked at Twitter and saw Rotterdam kind of making fun of you.
I'm going to do that. I'm just going to keep doing that. Just, you know, I think you've got to own your mistakes. So I'm thinking Soupy is going to be a thing from here on in.
Yeah, if you can't accept them, then no one will.
Absolutely.
You know?
Without a shadow of a doubt. Regardless, yes. So, yeah, map control and Fruitland can give you some things. People say, oh, just send the Lings to kill the Lemons. The problem is the Lemons have 3 armor. So they're basically impossible to kill with Lings.
Wow, okay, and they have like 2.5k health or so too, right?
Takes a while to make your way through those. You can do it, but generally speaking, you want something that hits a little bit heavier if you really want to go for any kind of early-based Lemon strat.
I like how it's a thing, a lemon strat. But one of the cool things for Zerg against Protoss, especially given these builds, Suppy's going to have quite a lot of time before like anything actually comes out of EGHuK, if anything does come out of EGHuK. And then, say if something does, EGHuK has to make the most of that time just to rush to Suppy's base and deal the damage instantly. And say if it is held off, then Suppy is given the upper hand and can, you know, mine as many lemons as he wants, I suppose. But right now, I can't really, like, we don't really know what EGHuK's going to be doing, although he does have 150 gas. Oh, Stalker and Warp Gate are incoming, so nothing too crazy.
Let's see how many more gateways come down here from EGHuK. That's what's going to interest me. We've got another pylon going off to the side right here, so he may decide to put down some more gateways, or that could be for tech. I mean, he does have a decent amount of gas banked up, but he's actually put that into +1 there. Yeah,
that's really good. So Zealots will be able to two-shot Lings, which is pretty significant. I haven't seen Suppy's ZVP in a while, but I know he likes to rely on Ling sort of play. And so this is immediately EGHuK just being like, okay, I know how Suppy plays, I know that he's very Ling heavy, and the amount of Zealots I'm going to make are going to be able to deal with that, at least deal early game pressure very easily.
Suppy lost track of that probe, which is not too good there. There's a Stalker working on that Queen. There's enough Lings to deal with that, but in the meantime, a probe managed to sneak down to the bottom there under the potential 4th of Suppy. That could end up being a thorn in his side. There's 3 more gateways following this up as well.
Yeah, so it does look like he is going to be piling on a lot of pressure at that 3rd, and Suppy's actually putting up a Roach Warren, which it's well-timed. It's actually very, very early, too. He's got pretty decent gas count, put both of them down as natural around the 6-minute mark, or at least they're up and running by around the 6-minute mark. And what happened to that probe in the bottom right?
It got killed.
Did it get found?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Suppy evidently did keep an eye on it. I thought he'd lost it there for a second since that Ling stopped following him, but he obviously registered it in his mind and said, you know what, I'll get it later after I've dealt with this Stalker that's trying to just tickle my 3rd.
And we see another probe on the right-hand side of the map, and if there's anything that EGHuK does really well, and you know he does this really well because during Idra and EGHuK's like prime hating of each other, the one thing that Greg always remarked on that EGHuK did well was his ability to be super sneaky with probes, which you do see running down there. An Overlord did just die, but he got to see the gases and such. So, I'm not sure what Suppy's gonna... Well, I'm not sure what Suppy thinks is gonna happen.
Well, he needs to be prepared for something, because level 1 ground weapons is about to finish. There is a Twilight Council on the way here. That pylon's a little bit too far away, but the second one might potentially be able to work. The problem that I've got with this one is that in order to attack the 3rd, you've got to kind of wander across this big open chasm of creep from the naturals as well.
He's getting the lemon, dude. He's getting the... Maybe it was that +1 armor to kill lemons, you know? Like,
yeah, +1 weapon will help slightly kill the lemons slightly faster, so this is obviously a prepared build here from EGHuK.
Okay, so... well, as prepared as it can get on Fruitland, I suppose.
Absolutely. Oh, he's obsessed with this map. Have you not heard him? Like, he consistently goes on about Fruitland ever since he saw it in the map pool for Shoutcraft America. He was the only person not to veto it, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I played it against him, but I managed to win despite him getting the lemons. But here, like, okay, so his 3rd got cancelled. Is he just going to throw down tons of gateways here and just hope for, like, a 2-base all-in? Because Suppy just made 19 drones. All at once. Suppy is very confident right now, it looks like.
Yeah, and he kind of has the right to, because EGHuK hasn't actually been able to do anything yet. He got the lemon, which is nice, but that's still... It's 500 minerals. It's not the world's biggest deal. Suppy's trying to get his own lemon, which is taking forever, as you can see with those Lings, but it looks like the respective lemons will be mined, and extra points will be got here. You know what I want to see is a lemon steal, actually, at one point. I want to see the probe carrying the lemon killed off. That would be absolutely wonderful. I don't think I've ever seen that. It never happened to GSTL either.
I wonder if you infested, like, if you neural parasite a probe, whether you can deliver those minerals back to your hatchery, because that would be really freaking cool, too.
I assume you could. You'd probably have to chain it, wouldn't you? You'd have to have several infestors along the way to chain that over.
500 minerals, man. I've done a lot less for, or a lot more for a lot less.
Oh, really? Okay, I've got that on record then, Ben. I'm going to use that against you in the future.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, that is a cancel 4th there from EGHuK Zealot, managing to deal with that. +2's about to kick in, as is Blink, so I think we know what's coming next.
Yeah, and EGHuK has absolutely phenomenal Blink micro, so this is looking kind of scary, but EGHuK's dealing so much damage to this 3rd of Suppy, and Suppy, he was getting so ready for the next portion of the game that he didn't really... Oh, wait, that's a lot of Lings, holy crap.
Force fields go down, and they're able to deflect most of that, and Suppy didn't kill the third base. He actually wasn't paying attention, and as a result, the Lings were not right-clicked on that base. So that Nexus lives, and the third is about to die. I have the feeling Suppy is also about to go out of this game pretty quickly at this stage.
Like, I don't really... Oh, Mutas are on the way, though, so this Mothership core will have to recall or just die. Oh, wow, he ran over these... Yeah, he got shot by the Spore... In fact, it wasn't the Spore Caller, but it looked like it. But yeah, he did get out in time.
a lot of units here as a result of that, actually, because he had to abandon his entire army, so that means all the Zealots die.
I mean, that definitely sucks, but he has, like, he's working it, like, in other places. Like, at the bottom here, 6 o'clock, he's got 2 Zealots just killing that hatchery, and I mean, that's a great play by EGHuK. And these Mutas going to the main base right now, it looks like they're going to deal a lot of damage here.
He's ignoring the third, which is making Xenocider really, really upset right now. Contaminate goes down on the warp gate there as well, just to slow things down a little bit. It more looks cool than anything else. The Mutas are now wheeling around, going for that mineral line. They want to try and kill that Nexus. This is so much damage from the Mutas, only 100 HP, and the Nexus dies. But that's a lot of Mutas he just spent to do that.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure, like, what's the hotkey to check how many Mutas are lost in Game Heart? Like, unit loss tab.
That is actually a really good question, and I have no bloody idea. It's not on my list. The units lost... it's Shift L. Yeah, there you go.
Shift L?
Yep, 7 Mutas died.
Wow, that's quite a lot for a Nexus, and to be honest, that's not a trade that really Suppy can afford here. I mean, he's got 9 Mutas running around, but the difference between 9 and, like, 16, that's humongous. He can't really put pressure on from this point.
Yeah, and EGHuK's got plenty of Blink Stalkers. His +3 will be finished in about a minute's time, even less if he Chrono Boosts. And at that point, +3 Blink Stalkers against what Suppy's got, that's only going one way.
It really is. And here we saw Suppy trying to get into that comfortable stage of the game, which we all know he's so good at, which is the late game. But EGHuK, he did what he does best. He read his opponent like a buck and just said, hey, I've got my battle plan right from the get-go. And did it smoothly. Really, really solid play by EGHuK.
Well, he was saying earlier that while Suppy might be pretty good in practice against EGHuK, he doesn't do too well in competitive matches, even though this is just a friendly nation war. It looks like that applies here as well, as +3 just kicks in there for EGHuK. Okay, alright, I'm exaggerating a little bit, you know. A salty as hell nation war.
Salty as hell, TotalBiscuit. You know, if we played against Germany or France, we would not call that friendly in the slightest.
No, bricks would be thrown, glass would be broken, beers would be spilled. But this could end pretty early, because that's a win for EGHuK. So this is actually now 3-1 in favor of Canada going into this. It may be that we get a forfeit from Desrow, which would take it up to 3-2, but still, this is looking pretty grim for the Canadian team. Sorry, the US team, in fact.
It is looking pretty grim, and I mean, the Canadian roster doesn't even have their #1 player on it, right? Like, Scarlet's not playing in this clan war?
No, she is not. She was a little bit busy, I believe. There's also an ice storm over there right now, so she played her show match today, and I think that's really all she wanted to play, which is understandable. She's been doing nothing but prepping for that. So, no, Scarlet cannot play for Canada, but as you said, their lineup's done really well, honestly, and coLqxc has been the only American player to actually put a point on the board here with a really good example of TBT against Masa.
Yeah, and I must admit that result doesn't surprise me. TVT-wise, I can give you like the top 3 players in TVT quite easily in North America, and Major is probably #1. And then you have coLqxc and Masa following pretty shortly after. So I knew that match was going to be really close and really cool. By the way, I tweeted the photo or the picture of what my Starcraft looks like. You might want to indulge.
Let's have a look-see. Let's have a gander, shall we?
So everything on the map was yellow. So it was really hard to tell what was going on.
Well, that is not a usual thing. Not at all.
No, what happened?
This is something I cannot explain. I've never seen this before. So big pink boxes. I think Major may have been having the same problem. As I said, everything was yellow. I don't know, maybe they're Coldplay fans.
Oh, man. Oh, nice one.
Yeah, see what I did there? Oh.
I saw what you did.
Slightly obscure song references. That's pretty much all I've got in terms of my level of humor, I'm afraid. I can't do the analysis, so I just stick to terrible puns and song references.
Hey, man, do what you do best.
Yes, indeed. It's the only thing I do well. Xenocider versus Hendralisk, I believe, will be the next match. Now, this is a good chance, I think, for USA to get something back on the board. I'd say Hendralisk, as much as I like him, is probably the weaker of the two players in this matchup, so I think this is a good opportunity here. What do you reckon?
Zeno's my teammate, and I'll try and remain as unbiased as I can. But Zeno is, as I said, or as I listed some of the best TVT players, Zeno is definitely one of the best TVZ players, but unfortunately for him, Hendralisk has no shame and can do absolutely anything, which could rock the boat for Xenocider in a way that he might not be ready for. And here they're like trolling each other, saying they're going to 2-Rex and stuff, but all Hendralisk does is he's going to go mass Banelings at some point and bust him. Like, that's what's going to happen, I'm pretty sure.
Now that is quite the prediction. I'm looking forward to seeing if that is correct. That would be pretty cool if it was.
I mean, like, you know, when you get it right, it's all good, and, you know, you get a little pat on the back here. But if I get it wrong, then I'm just going to get slaughtered. So, you know, take what I say with a pinch of salt, please.
Oh, there's enough salt to go around in this chat. I can tell you that for a fact, so don't worry about that. Okay, well, we're going to be going at this game very shortly. I'm currently just ordering food, because you guys have been casting Starcraft all day, so I'm going to find
What you getting?
There's some pretty cool places around here. There's actually a lot of locally owned stuff. There's a really good one that does these really great potato skins with chicken in them. Absolutely fantastic. Might have some of them.
That sounds pretty delicious.
It does.
I had Ethiopian food last night.
What exactly does Ethiopian food consist of?
Well, I didn't think it would be a lot, but it was like this kind of weird spongy bread stuff, and it's similar to Indian food in that it's kind of spicy, but the only thing I can compare it to is Indian food. But
okay.
Yeah, you should try it. You should try it if you're a fan of that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Alright, well, I have informed them exactly what I want. Hopefully they don't bugger it up. And I think everything's ready, but Xenocider is just spamming, so I press the go button and hope for the best.
It's the nervous spam. It's, you know, like... I like it when Zeno swears, because normally I think of, like, my little 15 to 16-year-old brother swear. It just feels kind of wrong, but, like, because it's Zeno, it's so right. Like, if you've ever watched his stream...
He's definitely had some interesting interactions on Twitter over the last few days. I think people do forget that he's still a kid, basically.
Yeah, he is. But that being said, I've been speaking to Xenocider at events before, like just randomly. It's like, hey man, how's it going? And I've had some of the most intellectual conversations I've ever had with that young man. He's well beyond his time. Okay, my
stop Major from making mild racist remarks in the chat. So just ignore, just for 1 second, indulge me. There we go. Oh,
my Starcraft still has huge pink boxes and everybody's yellow everywhere, but I'll try my best.
That is really weird. I've actually never seen that happen on GameHeart. I haven't seen anyone that's reported that. We'll have to try and figure out what caused it. Anyway, let's get into the game, shall we? To the northeast position in the red trunks on Yonsu, playing Terran. And fighting for the life, he is in fact on match point. Everything is on Xenocider's shoulders right here for Team America. Versus his opponent to the southwest position, who is in a very comfortable spot indeed. In the purple trunks playing Zerg, this Complexity Hendralisk.
Yeah, I don't know if this was just clever seeding by Team USA, but Zeno coming out on Yonsu. This is actually a very good Protoss map in every way that you could imagine. It's good for Blink Stalkers. It's good for Protoss against Zerg. It's just a good Protoss map. So I don't know if they seeded Hendralisk in hopes to get a Protoss, and then maybe USA knew that and then counted or sniped him with Zeno. Had to get my breath. Wow. But yeah, this is a weird matchup to be having on this map.
Mind games upon mind games upon mind games there. But you are right. It seems like Xenocider would be a good choice for this if you were to go for the whole reverse mind game thing. And Hendralisk probably being one of the weaker players on Team Canada, it seems to make sense.
Hey.
It's true. Come on, be fair, be fair.
Okay, I'll support your statement.
Yeah,
but
alongside people like EGHuK, I would say that Hendralisk is definitely a weaker player. Apparently, if you press Alt-F, by the way, according to Hitman, that might fix some stuff.
I still have squares.
Okay. Not really sure what's going on with that, but at least you've got the right colors now, right?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Wonderful.
So here we have a racks opening for the Reaper. This just means he's going to harass, and he's going for 2 Reapers. So this is cool, and do you see all this, like, mind game talking too by Zeno?
Yes, I see all of that. We've allowed people to chat, and I have a feeling that may have been a mistake, especially when Xenocider was in the game, so never mind. I have told them to watch out, because I'm not responsible for any fines or nonsense that come in their general direction as a result of what they say here.
It's pretty hard to find, like, Zeno, though. He's so nice. But Major, I could find him. If he was on my team, I'd find the shit out of him. Just for all the wrong things that he always does.
Oh, that's a quote for the ages. I love it. Reaper comes in. Second Reaper on the way here as well. Pretty annoying for Hendris to deal with. He doesn't have his queens out yet either, so he might be able to he'll certainly get a couple of lings out of this. I don't know if he's going to be getting any drones, but so far that's pretty annoying to see.
Yeah, so Zeno actually went to the main base and saw the gas. So he knows he has a time window in which these Reapers can be out on the map. He saw no lings leave the base to go and harass his Expo, so he can just use these Reapers up until the 6-minute mark to deal as much damage and to delay Hendris as much as possible. And behind this, he's actually going for 3cc, so he's playing the natural, perfect TvZ right now.
Nice and greedy, and able to maintain map control thanks to those Reapers, and there's not really a lot the Hendris can do about it until Metabolic Boost kicks in, but he didn't delay his Metabolic Boost too much, so that's going to be done in about 20 or so seconds.
Yeah, one thing that's going to be pretty pivotal here is whether Xenocider can kill the creep tumor that's made, the first one. As you can see, the Queen is kind of hovering around the edge of the creep with like 30 energy. He can definitely land the creep tumor, and the Reapers can take it out before it actually gets going. Oh, he's just going to lobby inject? Okay, that's cool. That's cool too. I mean, Scarlet wouldn't do that. Scarlet would be spreading creep almost before our queens are out, it seems.
Well, if it's the 6-minute mark, it would have been halfway across the map by now for Scarlet.
Yeah, it's quite an awful situation to be in. You know, you go into the game and it's already purple for you. Like,
yeah,
it's
the entire map is just preceded with creep, just for the sake of it. Special Scarlet variant of Game Heart.
Yeah, it's not cool. Oh, okay, so Hendris here is going 4 gases on 2 base.
Okay.
So that would usually imply that you're going to be going Mutalisks.
It would.
Or even ROOTMigus with queens. I'm not sure yet. Both styles are pretty doable and pretty good. And Xenocider, he hasn't seen a third yet. This is like the 3rd killing squad, or at least the harasser of the 3rd base. And given that he's not going to be able to see anything, he's going to have to perk his ears up to something a little cheesy.
Yeah, the Roach Warren is on the way right here, so that Nidus is a possibility. There is a really good Overlord position right here, I think, for Hendris down to the south of Xenocider's base that might be used for that. The Hellions and the Reapers are trying to make their way in there, though Hendris has got pretty much a lockdown. The 3rd might end up getting harassed here, but...
Okay.
Oh, Ventral Sacs! Okay.
Yes, okay, so Roaches, drop play, I've seen Jadong do this one time at WCS, he just completely annihilated Hack, and it owned. And now Xenocide has seen this late 3rd base too. Like, in Zeno's little head, I don't know what I think would be up. I mean, I've made all these, I'm watching the game, and I was making guesses as what might be coming. I did not guess this.
Yeah, that is unexpected, especially considering, there we go, Pneumaticized Carapace is now actually begun. But yeah, Roach Drop is... yeah, of course, the Baneling Nest. You're going to want to toss some Banelings in there if you are going to do any kind of drop play, really. But yeah, this is unexpected, and I don't think Xenocide has smelled this at all.
I mean, I'm not really sure. Like, he's definitely playing cautious here. He's going to try and put down his 3rd, although is that going to get blocked temporarily by the Overlord? Okay, no, 2 Marines out in the way. He anticipated that happening, so maybe a little block for a little while, but nothing too...
Nothing too serious, yeah.
Yeah, nothing too serious. Good infrastructure coming up for Xenocider 2. We have 5 Marines at a time. He's getting +1/+1. A Nidus Worm as well as Ventral Sacs.
Well, that's not something you see every day.
Okay. Did I tell you that he lacks shame? That there is no shame?
I don't think you necessarily mentioned it up to that degree, but it seems like we are seeing that demonstrated evidently right here.
Well, now I really mean it. Okay, so lots of Banelings being morphed. There is going to be a Baneling bust. I definitely said there's a Baneling bust.
Yes.
But this is going to be pretty nice for look at Zeno. He's trapped off these roaches.
That's a really nice move. Using the rocks, really Dustin Browder sheds a single tear, but rocks will not help against this big drop play, and Xenocider is not going to see this coming.
He's not, but look at Xenocider's army, and 1-1 is not too far away from hitting. He's getting medevacs out in the field. He's retreating his third orbital too. A Nidus is what? Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Yeah,
oh my god, he should pick up the Banelings to try and drop on those Marines. That would be insane play.
Looks like that's what he's doing. He grabbed a bunch of Banelings right here, but he miscontrolled most of that drop. The Nidus is up. He actually held his... This is silly!
Oh my god, what is happening?
Second Nidus. Hendrilisk, you mad person, you. He's kept 4 Banelings in the Overlord here to try and kill off any reinforcements coming up the ramp here. There are double Nidus in the base of Xenocider. The hopes of Team USA. It's so close. He doesn't quite get the connection there. Doesn't pick up the rest of them, but there are so many more units streaming forward. The ramp is gone.
Like, I mean, great pickup tank play, but his production's completely been compromised. And I mean, these roaches aren't going to stop flooding in anytime soon. Look at the production line.
It's devastating. I mean, there's roaches in the mineral line, there's roaches controlling the natural ramp here, Xenocide is in a horrible spot, there's drop play available with banelings and roaches and all manner of other horrible little nasties. One Nidus goes down, but the second one hasn't. The production's being camped here. Roaches and banelings dropped into the mineral line. This is ridiculous.
Oh man, I'm feeling really bad for Zeno, because this is not a way in which you want to lose, because...
No.
I called that something was going to happen, like maybe 1 or 2 of these things, but not all of these things happening at once. I mean, this
might very well be the most disgusting Zerg strategy I've seen in months.
I'm not looking forward to playing on ladder for the next few days. It has to be said, but more Nidus worms coming down randomly, I don't know where, in a... Wow, holy crap.
Hendrilisk, you crazy individual, what the hell was that? Well, that actually means that Canada wins 4-1, and, well, technically 4-2 because Desrow forfeited, but that was crushing. That was completely unexpected there from Hendrilisk.
And it has to be stated that it takes some balls to pull something off like that for, like, the final victory. Like, Zeno played incredibly solid, it looked like it, and, just got rolled over by the strategy that I've never really ever seen before.
I was gonna say, how the hell do you counter drop and Nidus simultaneously with Roachbane? That seems very difficult to stop.
I mean, the obvious answer is being there when it happens to kind of like try and shoot them down or to have some Widow Mines ready. But if you've never seen that before, or it's just not a common strategy, that's kind of hard to do. I mean, being prepared before you're prepared, yeah, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Is that it? Is that Canada winning 4-1?
Yeah, Canada just... Well, they won 4-2 because Desrow actually forfeited. He, for some reason, never actually showed up to the match. So, Minigun got a default win, I believe, against Desrow. However, the only other win on the board for USA was QXC versus Masa, and then Canada rolled the rest of them.
Man, forfeiters these days. Bunch of bitches. But, yeah, well played Canada. I did not expect that. I thought it was going to be much closer between USA and Canada, and wow, well played, well played.
Well, this is going to be the stuff of ages for a while. The American players are not going to be able to live this one down, I think. That was quite one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything that we can take from this, it's they both shit-talk marvelously well, Canada and USA, but yeah, Canada... even without their star player, managed to make that look pretty easy. So, I'm a little shocked, actually. I'm a little sad for Zeno, obviously, but I'm very impressed with the Hendris play. And, you know, just goes to show, even the underdogs should not be counted out, because they can pull out some ridiculous stuff that puts a smile on my face if I was a third player and a Canadian.
Yeah, I take everything back I just said about Hendrilisk. He's clearly not one of the weaker players. He's just one of the more insane ones from Team Canada.
He's their anchor man by the looks of it.
Evidently.
TotalBiscuit.
You know, have you heard about the Zerg Cabal? Because I think he's a member of it, and I'm pretty sure they came up with that.
Oh man, oh man. Yeah, he's a good little player actually. Like from my playing on the ladder, the North American ladder for so long. I could tell you plenty of things about every player that came into this, and I've got to say, there isn't much skill disparity between any one of them. They're all marvelous players partaking in this clan war. So, yeah, I just have to, you know, give a little nod of the hat to that one.
It was nice. It was very, very nice there. I want to see more of that, though, because obviously, you know, one clan war doesn't really give you all the info. I would love to see a few more of those. So hopefully they'll be able to organize more. Obviously, it was all just for fun. There was no actual prize, but still, that was fun to watch. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a good time. Thank you for bringing me on to cast with you.
Absolutely my pleasure, Ben. Thank you very much for coming in and really helping out with the remainder of it. I have a feeling that if you were not there for that final game, things would not have been anywhere near as fun.
All right, well, thank you, John. It was a pleasure. Right,
no
take
problem
care.
at all. All right, folks, that was it. There you go. USA versus Canada Nation War brought to you by Suppy and EGHuK. That was a lot of fun. Canada wins 4-2. Hopefully we'll get to do another one of those. If you missed any of this, this will be going up on YouTube over the next couple of days. And of course, if you are a subscriber to the channel, the VODs are already available. Thank you very much for watching, folks. I think it's time for me to bugger off and watch a movie. That sounds like a good idea. Been in Starcraft all day. If you haven't seen it yet, please do go watch my top 10 games of 2013. That is 2013. Oh god, they've changed YouTube again. What the hell are they doing? I don't even know at this stage. They keep messing with this stuff. Yeah, youtube.com/CynicalBrit is the place to find it. It already has about 250,000 views, so give it 250,001. I'll see you next time.